I'm hanging out in Photoshop, and we are going to do some pixel art, but it's also going to be planning for a build on the Realm of Vasten, which is a server that I play on. So what I want to show you guys here is a screenshot. So if I take the pixel art down and I take away some of these measurement stuff, you'll see this is a screen grab from quite a few weeks ago on the Realm of Vasten. And I think I might even be able to take down the one of these is a, no, I guess it's a screenshot that I had painted over. So here's a current screenshot. So that's kind of what the realm looks like right now. It's drastically reduced. But then you'll see there's the original screenshot, and then my concept painting that I put over it and kind of faded it out. I did this in a separate document. So we're going to keep this one open. And for those of you that are wondering what this little notch is at the top, it's because of the perspective. Because I'm low on the ground when I took the screenshot, the pixels up here, I think you guys can see my cursor. Yeah. So the pixels up here at the top of the screen, where's my, there we go. So these pixels around here by default were squished. Like they're not reading properly. And I know that because I have measurements on one of these. Yeah, so these were supposed to be equidistant and they started to get closer together. Like, see, there's only 3 blocks here and then there's 4 blocks there. So what I did was, just for the ease of making things flat with no perspective, was I kind of stretched the top there just a little bit, just to kind of make sure that we've got the right number of pixels. And I've also laid out some measurements. So these correspond with the Y level values in the game. So the base of the tree is at Y88. The top is going to be at 256, give or take. Whatever looks good, but around build height. And then you'll see that I've got these markers on the build that's currently in the world that marks off every, I think it's every 10? No, every 5. They go every 5 blocks. I've got lines here for every 10. So the idea behind all of this is, I get overwhelmed by this huge tree project, and it's really hard in Minecraft when you're standing and you're this 2 pixels tall to try and envision this without having to fly, 300 blocks away every 2 seconds. So what I thought I would do is start planning things out. So if I put a little screen over this so we can see what we're doing, I've got some pixel art. So there's the tree, and then I've also got a top-down view. And this is kind of what the tree looks like if you were to cut it in half and look down at the top of it. Granted, this is low on the tree. This would be probably, I can't remember what level I did this on. It's not 88. Actually, you know what? I think it is 88. So this could be like the absolute base of the tree. Like this could be the very, very bottom. And if you look at another screenshot that I have, you can see this is the Realm of Vasten. I'll zoom in a little bit. As it stands right now, I took the screenshot the other day. So the screenshot that we're looking at in the artwork was taken from right here, looking this way. And so you can see there's the base of the tree that I've got kind of outlined, sort of. It's really hard to see from this angle because there's only these 1 pixel lines that kind of show what it looks like. And if I go over to this screenshot, then you'll see this is currently what we've got. So you can see this curve here, you can see this curve there, and you can see the start of this branch. Now this is incorrect. I'll have to change this later. But if we pop back over here, you'll see that's kind of where these curves are going. So the goal today is, I have 3. I'll probably only get to 2 because I can only stream for about 90 minutes. But I want to finish the profile of this tree. I want to get these blocks in so that I can just go in game and just build things up. But beyond just that, I want to also have a different view. So if I go in here and grab a pixel. So right now we've got the tree, as we're looking at it, we're looking west. And I want to have it so that when you look at it from this way, that you can see what curve it's going to make. So I don't want the tree to be straight, because right now it's very straight. I'd like the tree from another angle to also have, you know, like a curve to it and have it snake around, you know, and have like some twists and stuff to it, you know, so sort of like that. So you can see where I've got, you know, different places where branches could come off, things like that, right? Actually, I quite like that. I might leave that as it is. But the idea is that this part here, when you look at it from the other side, this should be coming towards the camera, if we are the camera, you know, down here. And then this part of the tree should be going away, so towards the sunset. So I want to have those two profiles. The reason for that is because I have these discs that I've placed in the world that kind of create some depth. So if you look in here, I've got one of them in the world at this level. I think I've got another couple down here, and they're the thickness of it. But I don't want them all to be placed on this middle line, this axis. I want some of these, if I grab a different color here, I want some of the circles to be, where can I put this here? Just put another layer. So if this 130, this circle at 130, say it's somewhere around like there, I don't want all the circles to be like run on top of each other. What I want to have to do is have the tree snake. So if there's one circle here, I want another one there, and another one there, and another one there, and another one there. So the tree kind of snakes up in space as it gets higher and higher. And right now, I don't know where on the axis we're going. So I've got this axis, and we've got this axis. What we're missing is this one in space, the one that goes away from us. So I don't know where the tree is really on that space. And that's where this comes in, this top-down view. And this really cool thing that I just drew a second ago. So I'm actually gonna grab this. I'm gonna copy it to its own layer. Oop, I'm not on the right layer. Tree profile. So what do we want to call this? We'll call this tree cross-section. Sure, that makes sense. Oh, thanks, Paranor. I'm excited to see this tree in World 2, seeing as I'm the one that's building most of it. But that's the other reason for this, is that if I can get some stuff in there, then I can get some help from the other members. Because once the planning is done, it's just going to be a lot of block placing and kind of connecting things up and filling things in. And there's some talented people on the server, including Fixit, who's in the chat room. And I think that those folks could help out once the lines are in place. So actually, I want to keep this, but I need to scale it. So let's pop this up here. So right away, we can see this is maybe a little bit too big for like the main part of the tree. So let's just change this to nearest neighbor. And we'll get this down to something. Say that looks about right. So I'm also going to make this a different color. Let's do something lighter. So let's grab a lighter gray. No, lighter than that. Okay. So I feel like that's probably pretty good in terms of the center part of the tree if this was to bend back in space. So I'm gonna have that be, where's that bend? I'd say probably around, that would make the most sense, I think. Yeah, okay. So I'll leave that there for now, because I want to finish the tree from the front, because I feel like we need to kind of get this solid before we can really go ahead and move to the other side. So I think what I want to do is I want to finish the main trunk, and you can see there's a lot of like really weird pixels here. So I think what I want to do, I don't need the measurements on right now, so we can probably just turn those off, and maybe we'll just put in a marker though. So we'll just grab one of these, take this back down to 1, and let's grab a different color for just a marker and say, okay, this is probably going to be Frosty Tree branches and stuff. And so I don't think there's going to be much for probably solid branches much below that. So everything in here is just going to be, the branches will be kind of insinuated. So we'll do that, and then we'll go back to this gray color, and we can turn these off. The original sketch had the tree go all the way over to this side, and I didn't want to do that because I want to keep this elevator thing in the middle as high as we can, because I think if we get up to here, I think this is the one of the stops. I think 160 is one of the stops, and we'll have to lose the top stop afterwards, but I know 190 is also a thing. So I feel like if we keep it kind of thick through here, then we'll be able to maintain that elevator, which I think could have some cool functionality. Pancakes would ruin you. Yeah, I hear you. So now that we're actually ready to draw, I like this outside edge, so we're gonna try to keep as much of this as we can. And I'm probably gonna be switching colors a little bit just to kind of make it clear what's in front of what. So that's looking pretty good with the exception of this weird jaggy thing here. So 3, 2, 2, 3. This should probably be 3. Yeah, there we go. 2, 3 again. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and you can see the elevator in here. It's going to be within the tree by a block. And so that should help, I think, in what we want to do. So I'm going to change the color here to something a little bit lighter. Because I want this to be something in front. And this is where I want the trunk to kind of split. So I think we should at least continue with the philosophy of going, say, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Why does that look kind of weird? I guess there's no real way around it. No. Oh, I see why it looks kind of funny. Because technically, it would be here. Two, and then maybe 3 here. Yeah, let's get there. So what exactly am I trying to accomplish here? It says the Silver Squad. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm planning how to build in Minecraft. And it is, oops, cancel. It is ginormous. Goes to build height. So there's the scale. And I personally just find it easier to have a plan to execute when I'm in here. And I'm already feeling that this is a little bit too shallow. One, two, three, four, five, 2. There are some curves that are definitely harder to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Silver Squad. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's too much to count. There's just too many organic shapes and too much going on. So what I'm trying to do here is just I've got about this much done in world as far as the plan, like up to about here, and I need to kind of start. It gets a lot more complicated the higher you go, because obviously trees start to branch out and they start to do all these different things. And you can see that I do have a concept drawing underneath it here that I did, just a really quick sketch. I did this as a much higher resolution and I scaled it down. So what I'm trying to do is just get some decent curves for the basics. Like the nitty gritty stuff we'll do in game, just because I think I hate building stuff twice. So I don't want to spend all my time in Photoshop. You know, like I'd like to actually play the game. But we have to kind of sort out kind of where a lot of this stuff is going. And I find just having some blocks to count makes things a lot easier. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. So I feel like here we could probably go up another bit. So I feel like that's a little bit too steep. I've also been learning a fair bit about pixel art the last little while, so that's been kind of fun. And then for here, I feel like maybe we want to go up just a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's not right at all. So I find sometimes it's better to just kind of sketch it in yourself and then go back and fix it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's weird. When I build buildings, I don't like using even numbers. So I try not to use them in this. I find it helps a little bit, but sometimes it makes things a little bit too steep when you want something subtle. So I want something that kind of goes like that. So right away, you can see that we're starting to add a nice tight curve to it. Like there's no thinking involved when I go back into Minecraft. It's just a matter of putting in that branch. And this is the extent of the planning I think I'm going to do in Photoshop. After we get in there in Minecraft, that's when you can kind of go in with the different blocks and create some cool stuff. But the trunk of the tree here, I want to kind of have it come in. So maybe what we'll do is we'll change the color of this to that lighter gray. And then go back in and continue this. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and then probably no, it's too steep. 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'll see like I've got another branch that I want to come out that way. which makes sense. This is feeling a little bit straight, but there are some things I think we'll just have to wait until we're in game to really sort it out. It's more about just getting things to the right height. Stacks on stacks on stacks. Yeah, there's a lot of detail to it, but again, I think just taking the extra, an hour or so here and planning things out will make a big difference. Where are we as far as height? So I wanted to try and maintain that elevator up to that point, but I don't think we're going to be able to. I can't remember. I feel like we've got 3 stops. I feel like it's 130, 190, and 250. Not that we can't add stops on the elevator, but anyway. When building this in world, the lighting updates will be very frustrating, I bet. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure how the lighting is going to work. I have not thought that far ahead. I want it to look good first. We can worry about lighting it later. So I'd say this is probably going to be the point where the tree goes out the farthest on this side, and it's probably going to be about there. And then we've got this happening, and I feel like this can probably come down. So you can see I kind of very roughly drew in over the top of a sketchy branch. I think we're just gonna 2, 3, gonna mess around here. Do find it sometimes hard to count. Oh, wait a minute. Here's an idea. Why don't I turn on my pixel grid? Duh. I'm still sort of new. Oh, I know why I have it turned off. Because it does that. It places things in the wrong spot. Rulers. Yeah. Wait a minute. Is there... Snap to... Guides, layers, document bounds, show, grid, pixel grid. There we go. That's what I wanted. 3, 2, 1, blah, blah, blah. So then we just do kind of offset this maybe a little bit. Maybe have 3 there. No, other way. 3 there. I mean, the ends of these are going to be covered in leaves anyway. Kind of like that. I feel like this could maybe get pushed down more. So we'll do 3 there, 2 there, and then 3 there. Yeah, that's feeling better. I think I just have to get past the thing in my head where I don't like the even numbers. I think I just have to deal with that. And all of this is going to be hidden. Like there's going to be, in a lot of cases, like I've got these things up here. I should probably put this in a different layer actually. And we'll do this like that. So if I was to grab this color again, So a lot of this stuff, these branches are going to be like, you know, covered under cool frost tree type things. And there's even going to be, you know, chunks like this in here and like some big crazy stuff going off this way. Well, we can figure that out. I feel like there might be some folks in the server that are better at leaves and things than I am for sure. So we'll have to do that. And I want to have some stuff dripping down. I mean, not like goobers. It'll be like icicles, you know, like straight stuff like that. But it'll look a lot more full when it's done, which I think is pretty cool. So I'd probably turn that off. Where's my branches are probably going to end maybe like there. I feel like I'm just gotten in this habit of doing this like S-curve off the tree, and I'm wondering if I can maybe get away from that. Maybe have some of these kind of go up like that would be better. So we'll do 3 and then 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. What's crazy is that you're looking at the stuff here on the screen and it looks small, but this is 4 Minecraft blocks thick. Like that, that's not a tiny thing. Like not in the least. I feel like these things also get a little bit too thin too quickly. So let's try and move this up. Why did that only grab? Oh, turn off the anti-aliasing. That'll do it. There we go. Thing might be to do like the tops of these in one color and the bottom in another, just so we can clearly see where things are connecting. Should turn the leaves off now too. This whole thing is not a tiny thing, Silver Squad. No, you're right. Yes, indeed, sir. Mr. Fwip. And you can do a search on YouTube for FWHIP, and it should bring up his channel. It's pretty easy to find. We've got a lot of good questions from the community. It's not going to be an interview, it's going to be a roundtable, so some of the questions are going to be directed at Fwip, but a lot of the stuff is also going to be just straight up conversation, which is going to be good. 2, 5, 3. Let's do 2, under 2. We're going to get into the 1s. For whatever reason, I feel like sometimes with these angles of blocks on like a direct 45, I feel like 3 or 5 is the max, and then after that, it just starts to look like a straight line. So you're really going to have to change it up a bit. And I think this is throwing me here. I think that's good enough for now. I really don't have a plan for the top of the tree, which is not great, but wow, that is not at all what I wanted to do. Whoops. Sounds like a silly question, but are you planning any tree knots or broken branches? You know, I hadn't planned any knots, but that's the kind of thing that we can add afterwards. Like you could easily have something like protruding, you know? I don't think the druids, because it's all heavily lore based, right? Like I don't think the druids would cut something off. I feel like that would be against the lore. Once again, it's just easier sometimes to draw it rather than going pixel by pixel. Get there a little bit faster. Yeah, I'd say that works for now. And so we'll do the same thing. We'll take the top part, maybe make this just a little bit lighter. I don't know why I'm using this purplish blue. I think just because it's close to stone in Minecraft. Oops. So get that in there, and then we can come back in here and think about where this curve would be. So probably the realm of about here. And magic would produce a perfect tree, I'd imagine. Yeah, I mean, I want it to kind of look organic. I don't want it to look too mechanical or too perfect. But yeah, I agree. Magpie tier. No, Paranor is right. This is 1 for 1. I scaled it as best I could in Photoshop so that 1 pixel equals one block in Minecraft. So this is like huge. I remember when I put in this oval in game, and it man oh man, it was a huge circle, and I kind of really underestimated. Like for example, this is a top-down view. I can't remember what the width of the circle is. I think it's the oval is like 32, I think, across this. So it's like it's a 64 block wide oval, just to kind of give you an idea. Before the end of the stream, I will log into Vasten and walk around so that everybody can kind of get an idea of where it's supposed to be. No, you didn't duplicate any questions. I think Paranorm might have just been around for the last stream, so don't worry about it. And it's all right. I mean, people come into streams at different times. I mean, if you've got a question that's been asked before, that's cool. I'll just answer it again. When it comes to art stuff, if I end up getting a lot of the same questions, I'll just make an FAQ and stick a link to it at the bottom of the Twitch page. But for now, I'm cool. Cool with answering questions. I feel like this is going to get moved. Does not feel like it's in the right spot. Yeah, that feels better. So let's just do, say something like that. Maybe this is a good one to curve the other way. that. Get rid of this. I'm really kind of just, I'm blocking this in kind of arbitrarily. I really don't know what a tree of this kind would look like. I'm basing it heavily off of a bristlecone pine. So if anybody wants to Google search an image of a bristlecone pine, then you'll see kind of what I'm going for. I'm sitting at my computer with a mouse right now. Normally I do art streams from my Cintiq, and I've decided to take a different route today. So things are a little bit wonky. So we liked that curve. Do the same thing here. Grab the top of this color just to change this in. I think this will come in handy too later on when I'm like counting blocks and placing stuff. Feels a little straight there, but maybe we can just take that out. So I think maybe here we do that. And I think that this is going to be one of these things we have to kind of make the whole branch a different color. Just for clarity, because this I think is going to tuck in behind. So let's do yeah, that does look very straight, doesn't it? So 1, 2, 3, then here. Okay, so now we have to add more down here. It's trickier than I thought. Oh, I know what we can do. Just move this whole thing. There we go. That's better. I still feel like we could have a little bit more of a bulge there. There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. So what's the hotkey for turning off the pixel grid? Do I have that? View show. Pixel grid. I don't have that to, I used it on the other thing. So already the stream, we've curved and tightened up this side of the tree. So right now we've got a really solid idea about what we want this to look like. So I'm really happy with that. I do feel like we might want to get a little bit thicker through here, but that's the kind of thing in game that we might just end up doing on our own. Sometimes it's easier with that kind of stuff just to like pile on blocks. We can also pile on snow, which is going to be nice too. Your mug is replenished. I'm jealous. I had coffee already today. So I think the only thing left on this side of the tree is just this one branch. And I'm thinking maybe we can curve this up. So we can grab this, that. Keep on pressing the wrong key for color picker. That's a no. That's a no. We'll just go with what I was planning to do in the first place. And again, this stuff doesn't have to be super perfect because it's going to be covered in branches. So if I hide screenshots, no. I need to get the concept into its own folder. So I can easily, there we go. And then let's do a layer of like mid-gray. Right. So I say that's looking pretty good in terms of the right side of the trunk. So if I just add like a spare notes layer here, we can go in and take a look. So what I wanted to do is try to have like a through line that you can see on the whole trunk. And then on top of that, we've got these other things that are coming off of. And I'm not going to do it here. We can probably do a little bit better in game. But these will connect kind of like in that sort of a way. You know, like they'll be chunked like that. This might actually be on the back. Like maybe that's not a branch that comes out the front here. Maybe this tree is, this branch is behind that thing. And that's what we got to sort out next. After we just have these two branches here. I also want to take a quick look to see how far I want to go out in this direction, because I feel like one of these branches should be a bit bigger. And I also want to plan this out too. So, but we made quite a bit of progress in like, what, an hour maybe? Be right back.